Well, there are only a few days left until this August 20th election, and people are seeing that the race is heating up, but also the situation surrounding the election is becoming more dangerous. As you said, the Taliban is now sending out foot soldiers to keep people from making it to the polls and actually voting. Now, Hamid Karzai, the current president, is considered to be the front runner, and he has for a long time been promising to negotiate with the Taliban, but it's something that many of his opponents and a lot of people here in America are saying they haven't seen him live up to, including other promises. So how important will this election really be? What could the possible results be? Here to discuss that with me is Lawrence Korb from the Center for American Progress. Thank you for joining me today.
Nice to be with you.
Well, my first question is, do you have a personal prediction for what you think will happen?
Well, if I had to predict, I think Karzai will be ahead, but I don't think he's going to get more than 50%, so you'll have a runoff. And the reason I say that is our ambassador there, General Eikenberry, has gone to rallies for two of the other candidates. So, and in a way, that's the best result, I think, because right now you have 40 other candidates, so it's pretty hard to tell. If you get down to two, I think it'll allow the people to focus, and it'll probably be, Abdullah, who's a foreign minister.
Do any of these candidates, you think, have a chance of really changing the situation?
Well, I think the security situation's got to be changed first, and I think with the more American troops and a counterinsurgency strategy, which involves getting into areas and staying there until you can train the Afghans rather than just killing the other side, I think has a chance to turn things around.
Is there one in particular, though?
Well, I think what we've seen is President Obama sent 21,000 more troops, which will give the United States roughly 68,000. You add NATO, that's about 100,000 troops. You take that plus the Afghan security forces, and you focus only in the south and the east. You don't get into the, where the Northern Alliance is. I think that's enough to begin to turn things around.
How serious do you think right now this Taliban threat is to actually stopping people from going out and voting and making it to the polls?
Well, I think it is serious. I think it's an indication of how concerned they are that if you have an election and the Afghan people express how they really feel, this will undermine the Taliban. I mean, about 2 weeks ago, they issued a code of conduct, basically, because I think they're concerned about the fact that the American strategy is no longer to kill Afghans, but to win their hearts and minds.
Now, what do you think also about the youth vote that are involved in this? It seems like a lot of youth are really mobilizing in Afghanistan, and they, for the most part, aren't supporting Karzai.
Well, I think, again, that's good because they want a real choice. I mean, Karzai was elected overwhelmingly 5 years ago because he did have the resume and the support of the majority of the people in the country. But as you pointed out earlier, he has proved to be ineffective. There's a lot of corruption, hasn't followed through on a lot of his promises. So I think the young people want to change, and that's good because if you can bring about a change through the ballot box rather than, through bullets, that's a good sign.
Now, I wanted to ask you a question that's slightly a different topic. President Obama just released a statement offering his support after the attacks in Ingushetia, after the bombings that just went on there, but also denouncing these terrorist acts in general. Do you think that they are related? Does that mean that the U.S. is lumping them all together?
Well, I think what the United States is concerned with, that these attacks will keep people from going to vote. And we want to see a vote because we think the vote will actually help us to achieve our goal, which is to prevent Afghanistan from becoming a haven for al-Qaeda again so we can come home.
Yeah, so how important are these elections to the U.S., to the war effort there?
Oh, they're very, very critical. If they don't go well, people don't turn out. If it looks like there's fraud, I think that this will make it more difficult for the U.S. to turn things around. We've ignored it for 8 years. We're trying to focus on it now. The question is, we need everything to move in our direction.
And has anyone been saying whether one of these candidates, because it's often said that Karzai is, the U.S. man that they put into office. Are they still backing him right now, or is
Well,
there
I think what we want is a fair and open election. I think General Eikenberry going to the rallies for Afshan Ghani and Abdullah did give them the notoriety, and then Karzai made a tactical mistake by, denouncing the U.S., which then, of course, gave, more coverage to those other candidates.
I see. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will continue to provide coverage as the clock ticks down to these elections in Afghanistan. Back over to you in Moscow.
All right, Aliona, many thanks indeed. RT correspondent Aliona Minkowski and Lawrence Korb, Senior Fellow at the Center for American Progress think tank, live from Washington.